questions 1 through 10 on the 2012 grade 10 AMC 10A. Cagney can frost a cupcake every 20 seconds and Lacey can frost a cupcake every 30 seconds. Working together, how many cupcakes can they frost in 5 minutes? Well, Cagney, in every minute, 20 seconds for each. So 1 minute, it's 3 cupcakes. So 3 cupcakes every minute. And then Lacey is 30 seconds for 1, so that means 2 cupcakes every minute. So working together, basically it means that they can frost 5 cupcakes per minute. So in 5 minutes, it would be 5 times 5, which is 25. 5 per minute. In 5 minutes, it would be 5 times that. So 25 cupcakes they can frost working together. And therefore, number 1, the answer is D. A square with side length 8 is cut in half, creating 2 congruent rectangles. What are the dimensions of these rectangles? So here is a square, and then we're going to cut it in half, so approximately here. And we have to figure out the dimensions. Well, the square has a side length of 8, right? If you cut it in half, this becomes 4 and this becomes 4. So the dimensions of the rectangle are 4 by 8. So the answer is E for number 2. A bug crawls along a number line starting at -2. It crawls to -6, then turns around and crawls to 5. How many units does the bug crawl altogether? So here's a number line, and we can label it. We'll put 0 here, and then -2 is approximately here, and -6 approximately there. And then 5, +5, about here. So first, the bug goes from 2 to -6, so it travels obviously 4 units. And then once it's at -6, it turns around and goes all the way to 5. So that's going to be 6 plus 5, 11 units. So in total, 4 plus 11, 15 units the bug travels. And therefore, number 3, the answer is E. Let ABC equal 24, ABD equal 20. What is the smallest possible degree measure for CBD? Well, let's draw these, A, B, and C. So let's label this. This is some angle A, B, and C. And then we want to draw another angle, and this one is ABD. So ABD, and that is 20. So approximately something like this, where that is D. So ABC, this whole thing is 24, and ABD, this thing is 20, sorry. So that's 24. And they're saying, what is the smallest possible degree measure for CBD? So CBD is this angle in here. Well, it's obviously 24 minus 20, which is 4. And I think they put that smallest in there is because this can be drawn in another way, which would make a larger value for CBD. But the smallest one obviously is 24 minus 20. So number 4, the answer is 4, which is C. Last year, 100 adult cats, half of whom were female, were brought into the Smallville Animal Shelter. Half of the adult female cats were accompanied by a litter of kittens. The number of kittens, average number, was 4 per litter. What was the total number of cats and kittens received by the shelter last year? So we have 100 cats, and half of them, which is 50, are female, and the other half are male, since there are only 2 genders. And then of the 50, we break up them into 2 groups, because it says half of the adult female cats, so half of this group, are accompanied by a litter. So this group, which is 25, has a litter. And this group, the other 25, has no litter. And the litter, on average, has 4 kittens. So that means the ones that have a litter will have 4 kittens each, on average. So there's 100 kittens. So they're saying, what is the total number of cats and kittens? Well, the total number of cats is 100. total number of kittens is 100. So the total number of cats and kittens is 200. 100 plus 100. So number 5, the answer is B. The product of two positive numbers is 9. The reciprocal of one of these numbers is 4 times the reciprocal of the other number. What is the sum of the two numbers? So we have two numbers, and we can call them x and y. And when you multiply them, the product is 9. And they're saying that the reciprocal of one of these numbers, so 1 over x, is 4 times the reciprocal of the other number, so 4 times 1 over y. So that basically means if you cross multiply, that 4x is equal to y. And we can now substitute this into here. And when we do, we get x times y, but y is 4x. So we substitute that, 4x like this, is equal to 9. So this gives me 4x squared is 9, and therefore x squared is equal to 9 over 4. And when you take the square root, you get 3 over 2 for x. Substitute that value into this equation, and you'll get that y is equal to 4 times 3 over 2, and therefore y is equal to, that looks like 2 times 3, which is 6. So x is 3 over 2, y is 6. Now we just have to add them because we need to find the sum. X plus y is 3 over 2 plus 6, and that is 1.5 plus 6, 7.5. And of the answer choices, the one that is equivalent to 7.5 is 15 over 2, which is D. In a bag of marbles, 3 of the 5 marbles are blue and the rest are red. If the number of red marbles is doubled and the number of blue marbles stays the same, what fraction of the marbles will be red? So let's just say we have 5 in total, and of those 5, 3/5 are blue, so 3 are blue, and the rest are red. So if 3 are blue, that means 2 are red. And then they're saying that the number of red marbles is doubled. So from 2, we're going to 4. And the number of blue marbles stays the same. So this stays as 3. Now, what is the fraction of marbles that are red? Well, now we have a total of 7 marbles. And of those 7, 4 are red. So that is our fraction, 4 over 7. And therefore, number 7, the answer is C. The sums of 3 whole numbers taken in pairs are 12, 17, and 19. What is the middle number? Well, we have obviously 3 numbers, A, B, and C. And when you take their sums 2 at a time, we have the numbers or the sums of 12, B plus C would be 17, and A plus C would be 19. So we have 3 equations, 3 variables we can solve. And you can solve this any way you feel comfortable. For example, I can take the first 2 and subtract them from each other. So if I do, I would basically get A minus C. Or you can do it the other way to get C minus A. I think that's better because that would avoid getting a negative. That would be 5. And then now this plus this, you can add them. And when you do, you get 2C is equal to 24. And therefore C is equal to 12. Since C equals 12, substitute it back into there, and that will give you B is equal to 5. If B is equal to 5, sub it back into there, and you get A is equal to 7. So the numbers are 5, 7, and 12, and therefore the number in the middle of 5, 7, and 12 is 7. So number 8, the answer is 7, and that is choice D. A pair of 6-sided fair dice are labeled so that one die has only even numbers and the other die has only odd numbers. The pair of dice is rolled. What is the probability that the sum of the numbers on the tops of the 2 dice is 7? So the first die, instead of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regular numbers, it has 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6. And then the next die, instead of the 1 through 6, it has 1, 1, 3, 3, 5, 5. So you're going to roll these dice, and you're going to look at what possible combinations. So for the first die, you can have 2, and then from the second one, you can have a 1. So that's one possible combination. So I'll just write out all the combinations. You can have 2 and 3. You can have 2 and 5. Or you can have 4 for the first one and 3. 4 for the first one and 1. 4 for the first one and 5. Or you can have 6 and 1, 6 and 3, and 6 and 5, right? These are the only possibilities. So now we have to figure out the sums. This sum is 3, 5, 7. These sums are 7, 5, and 9. And this sum is 7, 9, and 11. So how many sums total? 7. This one, and this one. So of the 9 possible combinations, there was 3 that totaled 7. So the 3 over 9 is the answer, but in lowest terms, of course, it's 1 over 3. So number 9, the answer is D. Mary divides a circle into 12 sectors. The central angles of these sectors, measured in degrees, are all integers, and they form an arithmetic sequence. What is the degree measure of the smallest possible sector angle? So we obviously have to divide it into a whole bunch of angles, and it's not really important to draw it all out. I just wanted to show you that, we're cutting the circle into different angles. And what that means is that eventually all the angles, when you add them all up, will equal 360. That is for sure. But the 12 different angles all form an arithmetic sequence. So it's A plus D, A plus 2D. If, A is the first angle, A plus D is the second angle, A plus 2D is the third angle, and so on, right? A plus 3D, and so on. All the way up to, you get to the very last angle. The very last one will be A plus 11D, because remember there's 12 terms, 12 angles, 12 different segments. And that all has to add up to 360, right? Because all the angles around a circle, if you add them all up, they have to add up to 360. So if you do add this up, it becomes 12A, and then you're adding all the numbers from 1 to 11. So that's going to be 11 times 12 divided by 2D, and that's got to equal 360. Divide through by 12, and you get A plus 5.5D is equal to 30. Now, A is what we have to figure out, the actual measure of. Now, they give us a very important clue here that they're all integers, and that's very helpful. So basically what it boils down to is trying to find integer solutions for that equation. All right, let's go with this. It's an integer, so this has to become an integer. So that means D must be even. So if D is 2, for example, I'll get A plus 11 is equal to 30, and therefore A is 19. Okay, well 19 is not one of the answer choices. Okay, keep going. How about if D is equal to 4? D has to be even in order for A to be an integer. Now I get A plus 4 times that would be 22 is equal to 30, and therefore A is 8. And that is indeed an integer, and that's one of the answer choices. So number 10, the answer is C.